Well, would you look at how the tables have turned? I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like this. What was it now? Only 1 to 2 months ago where everybody was joking and clowning on Baker Mayfield? He was looking like the biggest loser, and he was also making it look 10 times worse on himself because he was going on podcasts and just talking way too much. We all know how this went down. If not, let me remind you real quick. For the Browns last year, Baker Mayfield, he was dealing with some injuries and he tried playing through them and it didn't turn out so well. He wasn't playing all too great, but like I said, he was dealing with the injury. Just so I can give you some perspective, I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan, but I'm also not a Baker Mayfield hater. I'm even keel. Dating back to Oklahoma, I wasn't a fan and I wasn't a hater. I was even keel, but here's what I am going to say. I like exciting football players, entertaining football players, and good football players, and he checks all those boxes. Me and you watching this video, we're not too different. We like watching football and good football. There's a lot of mixed emotions and feelings about Mayfield. Some people think he could be great. Some people think he's a bust and he's not going to be great, but we can all agree he's exciting to watch. But with Mayfield not performing so well at the end of last year, the Browns decided to move on and get Deshaun Watson. Moving on from Mayfield, it's controversial itself, but moving on to Deshaun Watson, it just adds more to it. Me personally, I like the move and I don't see nothing wrong with it because to win a championship, you got to have a championship caliber quarterback, and that's Deshaun Watson. The only problem with Deshaun Watson, and I'm not going to speak on it too much, is all the allegations. I don't want to get into all that stuff on this channel. This is just strictly football talk. If you want to hear about that, you can go to a news outlet or somewhere else. They're talking about it nonstop. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong down below, there's now 24 accusations against him. You can cut it up, chop it up however you want. It is just a straight up messy situation. Here's the thing though. Nobody's questioning or saying they shouldn't win after Deshaun Watson. The bad part for the Browns is how they treated Mayfield at the end. I think Deshaun Watson, he's 2 times better than Mayfield, but they treated him so poorly whenever I know that Mayfield, he would have died for that team. He was playing through an injury he shouldn't have played through, and he would give it all for any team and organization. Say what you want about him. Is he cocky? Is he arrogant? Is he a little prick at times? Yes. Is he the greatest? No, but he's going to give it everything he's got. There's one part about Mayfield's game you can't question, and that's his effort and tenacity on the field. And I'm going to tell you what, if you give me max effort in anything in life, whether it's sports, your job, whatever, you got my respect. Although his play is questionable at times, and trust me, I've seen the arguments, I agree with you 100%, there's one thing you can't question, and that's his heart and passion. I don't disagree with the Browns moving on from Mayfield. I disagree with how they moved on and how they handled it. It was poor, it was terrible, but at the end of the day, that's how business works and that's how the United States works. Whenever it comes to business, you gotta throw away your personal emotions. Business in America is cutthroat, and although it's football, a sport we love watching, the NFL, at the end of the day, it's a business. But now fast forward in time to our current date, with this new 24th accusation being put out against Watson, many fear and believe he could be suspended the entire year, and I've seen some people say he could be suspended for 2. Who knows how long it's going to be? I have no idea, but the only thing we do know is that it's going to be a suspension. We just don't know how long. If I had to give my take and opinion on it, I would say at minimum they're going to suspend Watson for 8 to 10 games, and that's minimum. The reason it's taken so long to come out with a suspension is because they're still gathering details. It seems like right when we have all the details, a new accusation comes out, and it's just crazy. I'm not here to say Deshaun Watson is guilty, innocent, or whatever, because I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. The only thing I'm going to say is, I don't even know how a NFL player or a person in general gets involved with 24 different women. For an NFL player, it does make more sense because girls, they want to be around them, but 24 people with all these accusations, it's just a little too much. And ladies and gentlemen, the weirdest part about all of this, let me remind you, Baker Mayfield is still on the Browns. On March 15th, he posted a long message on Instagram. Don't worry, I'm not going to bore you and read it, but he was pretty much saying his goodbyes. I guess that's when he found out they're moving on and trading for Watson. Here's where things start to get really, and I mean really interesting. The Browns thought they were going to be real slick with this, and it's coming back to bite them in the butt. Here's what they thought, and it's clear and obvious. The Browns were thinking, okay, we're going to go after Deshaun Watson, and we're going to trade Mayfield in a week or 2. No problems whatsoever. Baker Mayfield, he's a good quarterback. Somebody's going to be willing to take him on, and somebody always, they need a quarterback, right? But as we all know, nobody was really that interested in Mayfield. It was a tough situation because obviously, if you know anything about football, you know Mayfield is a top 32 quarterback, and he's a starter in this league. It all goes back to this though, and as to why it's so weird, the market for a quarterback, it shrunk drastically. There wasn't, and as to when I'm speaking, there's still not a market for Baker Mayfield. The problem with this is fairly simple. He's not a top 8 or 10 quarterback in the league, and he's not a championship caliber quarterback. However, the other problem with this, he's not a bridge guy either. He's not a player you bring in for a year or two, because in Mayfield's mind, he thinks he's good enough to be a star. Another reason he's not a bridge guy is because he does bring that, what's the word I'm looking for? That toxic and cancerous type of environment to a locker room. We see it with Aaron Rodgers. If you are as good as Aaron Rodgers, I guess it's okay, but Baker Mayfield hasn't proven himself yet. Okay, he has proven himself. Let me put it this way. He hasn't proven he's a championship quarterback just yet. A good example, and I brought this up before when talking about Mayfield, look at the Atlanta Falcons. They wound up going after Marcus Mariota. Why did the Falcons go after Mariota? Because both parties know he's only going to be there for 1 to 2, 3 years. They're on the same page. Mariota understands he's a bridge quarterback, and so do the Falcons. With Mayfield, he doesn't think he's a bridge quarterback, so that's why teams are scared to bring him in. That's why I say there's no market for him, because he doesn't really fit any team's needs right now. Going down the road, I think all of this will change because there's a team that needs him. Nobody's running out of their shoes to get him just quite yet because it's the offseason. Once the season starts up and a quarterback gets injured or a team, they're playing terrible, they'd bring him in a heartbeat. It's like supply and demand, and unfortunately for Mayfield, there's no demand for him right now. Let me put it this way, and I think this will open your mind up and give you a great perspective. If you need a Christmas tree, but it's the middle of summer, are you really going to be rushing to get that said Christmas tree? I don't think so. On the flip side, if Christmas is right around the corner and it's December 1st or 2nd, you're going to be rushing to get that Christmas tree. I can't dumb it down any more than that. That's what's going on with Mayfield. It's not football season, so nobody is rushing to get him just yet. So that's why he's remaining on the Browns even as to when I'm speaking. And there's now speculation stating he could be on there to the end of the season because they don't want to trade him for nothing or cut him. The last thing in the world that the Browns want to do is cut Mayfield, and they've made it clear they're not going to. Check out this tweet though, and I found it rather fascinating. If Watson is suspended for a long time, possibly the whole year, don't be so sure that Baker will come back and save him. He put his body on the line for them and played hurt, and they replaced him with this. He's not the type to let that go. He'll still want out. This isn't just a rumor, but there is so many people thinking Deshaun Watson is going to be suspended the entire year. Look at this tweet. If Baker Mayfield finds his way back under center with the Browns and somehow leads them to a Super Bowl run, it would be a story like nothing the world has ever seen. That tweet got over 1,000 likes, but once again, there's a major problem with this. There is not a single shot or chance in the world Mayfield plays for the Browns ever again. I know the type of person that Mayfield is, and the definition of it is petty. Dating back to his Texas Tech days, and yeah, that's right, I said Texas Tech, he's always had that quote-unquote chip on his shoulder. Even after he wins the Heisman and he's the #1 pick, he still says he has a chip on his shoulder. What that goes to show to you and what that tells you, he forgets nothing. He will never forget how the Browns treated him, and it doesn't matter if they need him or not, he's not going to play for him. I see everybody on Twitter talking about how crazy it would be if he came back and had a great season, but you can just quit thinking about it because it's not going to happen. Literally, as to when I'm speaking, and I can almost guarantee you this is happening, Baker Mayfield, he's laughing about all of this. Like I said at the beginning of this video, look at how the tables have turned so fast. 2 to 3 months ago, everybody was laughing at Mayfield. Fast forward in time to now, everybody's laughing at the Browns because Mayfield, it looks like he's going to get the last laugh. Last but not least, before we end up this video, I got one more tweet I want to show you. This person said, if I was an NFL team in need of a quarterback, I would be willing to acquire Baker Mayfield right now just based on the fact he's going to be the most motivated effing human on earth heading into next season. I'm about as unbiased as it gets when it comes to Baker Mayfield. Call me crazy, but I think a motivated Baker Mayfield is a dangerous one. I think we all know this. The latest reports I've seen is that he's either going to go to the Seahawks or the Panthers. I've seen a lot of tractions with the Panthers saying they'd be willing to acquire him, so I guess we'll have to see. If I was Mayfield, the last place I'd want to go is Seattle because they're in total rebuild mode, but for the Panthers, he could win right away. And how funny and ironic would it be if he goes to the said Panthers next year leads them to a decent year. They go 11-6, and the Browns, they're terrible because Watson can't play. I'm telling you, it's looking like Mayfield's gonna get the last laugh. And who would have thought this? Now that Baker Mayfield, he's shut up, he's staying off social media, people are taking his side. I've always thought that was the best thing to do whenever you're in a terrible situation. Just don't speak on it because you're going to make it worse. Look at Antonio Brown. That's pretty much all I got to cover in this video. We haven't talked about Mayfield in about 3 or 4 weeks. The situation is still very interesting to me. Let me know your thoughts down below. But, peace.